Okay, so going on to the next example. Okay, so if you have again any question from our previous example, just ask it to me through online. Okay, so just giving you an again, okay, a brief overview about this next example. Okay, this examples actually talks about the modulus and modulus or absolute value and the argument of our complex numbers. What do you mean by modulus? Modulus or absolute value is from our algebra. Yan yung tinatawag nating the radius, no? Radius. Kung meron tayong triangle, okay? Kung meron tayong triangle, for example, x and y, tinatawag nating radius is ito. So, makukuha natin tong radius na to by using the Pythagorean theorem. We have the Pythagorean theorem states that r squared is equals to x squared plus y squared. Now, so bakit natin to siya pwedeng i-apply? Bakit? Kasi, as I have said, no, previously, complex number is actually being plotted in rectangular form. Where the rectangular form is, we have, meron tayong y and x, okay? Where this y is represented by imaginary, okay, and this x is real, okay. Now, so kung meron tayong, for example, z1 is equals to x1 plus y1 I, okay, kung meron tayong ganitong complex number, pwede natin yung siyang i-plot dito sa complex or rectangular coordinates natin by using by having this x1 and y1. For example, this is x1 and this is also y1, okay. So therefore the graph of our z1 is this one, okay, from the origin, no, kasi we are always starting from the origin. So ito yung z1 natin, okay. So as you can see here, naka-form tayo dito ng triangle, okay. So therefore meron tayong radius, no. So ito yung tinatawag nating modulus, no, or absolute value ng z1, okay. And for theta and for argument naman, yan yung tinatawag nating angle, okay. So ito yun siya, yung angle dito, okay. So the same din dito sa complex number, yung theta dito is yan yung tinatawag nating argument, and then we can find this theta here by using the trigonometry, no, or yung cosine, sine, and tangent, okay. So ito actually yung overview ng example na to. So this example states that given that z is equals to 1 plus I, okay, so meron daw tayong z is equals to 1 plus 1 plus I. For letter A, find the absolute value or modulus of z. So hanapin daw natin yung absolute value or modulus of z. And for letter B, find the argument and the principal argument of z. Okay, so mamaya sasabi or malalaman nyo kung ano yung pinagkaiba ni argument and the principal argument. Magkaiba yun sila actually. Okay, so for letter A, we have different steps. For steps number 1, we have, sabi dito, use the formula 3 to find the modulus of 0. So what is formula 3? Formula 3 is from your manual. Ito yung formula 3. Okay, ito. We have absolute value of z, or modulus of z is equals to radius, or r is equals to square root of x squared plus y squared, okay, or it is equals to square root of z multiplied by the absolute value of z, okay. So for step number 1, ito daw yung yun, so ito yun siya, okay. This is expression number 3, so from your manuals. So step number 2, substitute the value. So we have the value for x and y is 1 and 1. So you have absolute value of z is equals to square root of 1 squared plus 1 squared. So you have this is equals to square root of 2. So ibig sabihin, ito na yung radius natin or modulus natin. Okay, or absolute value natin. So for letter B, hahanapin daw natin yung argument at saka yung principal argument. Okay. So meron din tayong different steps here. We have used the formula 4 to find the principal argument of z. Okay? Principal argument of z. Okay. So what do you mean by principal argument? Okay, before that, ito yung mini-mean niya na expression number 4. So makikita nito siya sa manuals natin. Now, what do you mean by principal argument? Ang ibig sabihin ng principal argument is that, okay, for example, meron kang angle. So let's say for example, theta. Okay? Now, this theta is tinatawag natin to siyang principal angle or argument. It is because it is only a multiple of only 0 pi, or kumbaga nandito lang siya nakalocate sa between 0 and pi. Okay? Between 0 and pi. Okay? Now, kasi itong theta na to, okay, pwede ko siyang sabihin as diba this is pi, so iikot ka na naman dito, magiging 2 pi, then iikot ka dito, okay, so we have 2 pi plus theta. Okay, so what if hindi lang dyan actually nagtatapos, what if paikutin ko pa? Okay, so mag-stop na naman ako dito, for example 2 pi na yun siya, so mag-ikot pa ako ng isa, so magiging 4 pi. Okay, so we have 4 pi. So what if hindi pa dyan infinity, up to infinity, so we have 2 to the power of n pi, or 2 to the power of n pi plus theta. So yan. So ibig sabihin nito, okay, for some angle or for some argument theta, hindi lang ang kanyang value is theta lang, but meron pa siyang another multiple of 2 pi. Okay? Another multiple value of 2 pi. Okay? So yun yung tinatawag nating argument. Okay? Kaya siya tinawag na principal argument kasi, okay, yung theta na yon na first na ma-encounter mo from this reference papunta dito sa ray mo, so is tinatawag nating ray. Okay? Yan yung tinatawag nating principal value or principal argument. No? Kasi wala siyang multiple of 2 pi. So, yung minimin ko na multiple of 2 pi is iikot ka pa kahit anong gusto mo, kahit kailan mo gusto, then mag-stop ka na naman dito sa ray mo. Okay, so equal pa rin, no? Equal pa rin kasi as you can see here, the angle between this reference mo at saka dito is theta pa rin. But ang pinakaiba nga lang again ng principal at saka ni argument lang is si principal, ito lang siya, theta lang. Okay? Ito lang yung principal argument natin. Okay? Argument. So, for multiple of some value of 2 pi, okay, this is tinatawag natin argument. Okay? General. Argument. Okay? So, kumbaga, pag tinawag mo siya as argument, general na yun siya, no? Lahat ng including na doon lahat ng multiple of 2 pi. Okay? Now, sir, a question. Bakit pala, sir, multiple of 2 pi? Just that is actually the characteristic, some basic characteristic of trigonometric. Now, since in here we are talking about here sine and cosine, no? Kasi in here nakaka-form naman tayo ng triangle dito, and we know that from our trigonometry, we know that the period of sine, cosine, and tangent is always a multiple of pi. So that's why in here meron tayong multiple of 2 and pi dito. Okay? So yun. Okay. So in here, hahanapin daw natin yung principal argument of z using this tangent of theta is equals to y over x. So substitute the value. We have tangent of theta is equals to 1 over 1. So 1 over 1 is equals to 1. So para mahanap natin yung theta, we have to transform this tangent into other side, so that magiging inverse tangent siya. So we have theta is equals to tangent inverse of 1. We have 45 degrees Celsius. Okay, from your calculator. So this would be the argument, principal argument of z is equals to 45 degrees Celsius. Okay, so during our discussion, we will denote the principal argument by big letter argument z, and for argument lang we have small letter of argument z. Okay, so don't be confused between these two. No, this is principal argument and this is argument lang. Okay, so for step number 3, convert the value from degrees to radian. Okay, so we have, by converting this 45 degrees into radians, so we have 45 degrees pi over 180 degrees equals to pi over 4. Okay, so ito yung degrees natin. Then for step number 4, find the argument of z from principal argument. Ibig sabihin, makukuha natin yung argument from principal argument. Now, so as we have see here, it is just the multiple of 2 and pi. Okay, 2 and pi. So you have argument of z, no, small letter a, because we are talking about here an argument, is equals to big letter argument of z. So big letter because this is the principal argument, plus minus 2 and pi. Okay? Bakit dito plus and minus? Kasi may mga oras na pwede tayong mag-start dito, then instead na pa counterclockwise tayo, counterclockwise na lang yung direction natin. Okay? So that's why in here negative, positive and negative 2 and pi. Okay? Or substituting the value of principal argument or big letter argument z, so you have pi over 4 plus 2 and pi. Okay? Where n is from 0, 1 up to infinity. Okay?